Coach Brad Brownell.
Pretty good performance. A few too many turnovers for sure, but I like the way we guarded for the most part. Got to play a lot of guys. Certainly PJ was outstanding in the first half, and we made a concerted effort to get him the ball, and some of the things they were doing defensively opened some things up for him. Just, good performance in terms of getting a lot of guys out there, getting some things done. Ian Schieffelin, I think, as a freshman, played very well tonight. Was finished plays around the basket and hit a nice three. So just, I thought Nick Honor was very good. Floor game, 7 assists, 1 turnover. They did a lot of gambling defensively. They trapped a lot. Mixed up a couple press coverages. So I thought our guys handled most of that reasonably well. We got a little loose at times, and a couple older players had some turnovers, which is disappointing. But that's really about the only thing I would be critical of our performance. Questions?
Coach, how nice was it to be able to rest PJ as much as you did in the second half after a great first half? You're obviously going to need him a lot this season.
Yeah, PJ's a guy that, I think we'll play him a lot, this year, certainly in spurts, though. He can wear down. Obviously, he's had some knee issues, so we, trying to watch that a little bit as well. But, I thought he was terrific. Obviously, very efficient. Our guys did a good job putting him in positions to be successful. He, shot the ball in, laid it in, did the different things that you need to do. And I thought he would, take a step forward this year, and I think he'll continue to do that. And, excited to see him play well in live action.
How did you see him take a step? Like, in what ways like he's better and more confident?
More confident, just more confident. Seeing the ball go in, shooting the ball with more confidence. And that comes with, he's physically bigger and stronger than he was last year. The weight isn't a lot different. He's a little heavier, not much, 5 pounds, but it's, his transformation in terms of baby fat and real muscle. And then just, he's been a guy that's gotten a lot of touches, all summer, all fall. And so he's, Amir's been gone since the spring of last year. So, he's been a primary guy from that standpoint. And, as he plays well, his confidence will continue to grow. Consistency will be a big challenge for him as a young player.
Coach Ian had a great night debut. PJ just told us that he's probably the best passer on the team.
Yeah, he has a great feel. He really has a good feel for basketball. His shot is improving. We've worked really hard with it. He actually was injured a little bit this summer, and I remember we were doing some work, and the coaches were kind of doing a bunch of skill work with all the guys, and Ian was just kind of sitting over there, and I brought him over and asked him, hey, don't you think we can get something done right now? And he looked at me and I said, let's work on your shooting, right? I know you can't move because your ankle or whatnot, but so we spent some time working on his form shooting, and, I don't want to say reconstructed his shot because it wasn't that much, but we did tweak it. And to his credit, he's been an incredible worker. He came out of shape completely, 20 pounds overweight. He's lost 20 pounds. He's worked to get his shot much better. He has a good natural feel for the game. He can handle the ball. He can pass the ball a little bit. He plays a game with a nice confidence for a young player that you don't see most young players have. He's practiced much better in the last 2 weeks. He's been a better practice player, made more plays, played more efficiently. And I think today was just a product of 2 weeks of really good practices.
See, right now, the guy behind PJ,
yeah, probably. Ben's going to play some too. He's big and strong and physical, rebounds well. Doesn't have quite as good a feel for what we're doing on the offensive end, especially yet. But he's a big kid. He's 6'10", 230, and we're going to need his size at times this year as well. So, I think all 3 freshmen have shown flashes of really good play. Josh has had a couple of really good practices at time. Today, I don't think was one of his better days. He was very loose with the ball, and but he's one of those guys that's herky jerky, can get by you, can make some plays for himself or others. So we like the freshman class and think those guys have done some good things, and they might get some chances this year.
So do you know at this point how many guys you're comfortable playing, or is that?
No, I think they're still trying to figure it all out. You really are. I mean, we're going to play a lot of guys. We'll play, 8, 9, 10 guys, maybe 11, all 11. We'll see. But we're going to play a lot of guys.
What did you see out of Naz tonight, and what do you want to see?
Yeah, today he didn't play very well for him. He's better than what he showed today. He's one of those guys that can do a little bit of a lot of things. Can dribble it, pass it, rebound it, can bring it up a little bit, make a shot occasionally, just kind of blends, play a lot of different positions. He's pretty bright out there. I thought he got a little bit sped up a couple of times and had a couple of turnovers in the first half that were kind of uncharacteristic. But he's got a good spirit about him. He's got our guys like him a lot. Like, he's a vocal guy. He wants to win. He's competitive. So he didn't play as well basketball wise as he's probably played in practice.
Is that just learning a new system?
Probably just a little bit of nerves, getting used to it, a little bit of everything. I mean, you wouldn't think a guy who's, played and scored whatever 1,400 points would be nervous, but I mean, you are in a new environment. It's a new team. You want to impress, you want to do well. So you're just maybe a little faster than you should play. And the game was like this, they were aggressive defensively, trapping, gambling, doing some things, slapping all the time. And so there was, this was a game where if you weren't sound, you were going to have some turnovers, and some guys who weren't sound did.
Coach, I thought your other transfer Collins had a nice second half. How well is he assimilated there?
Yeah, good. He just, good solid player. Make a three, drive the ball a little bit, rebound, guards well. I thought he defended well tonight, got his hands on some balls. I don't know how many steals he had, but he had some deflections. Got a big, strong body. He's been very solid, consistent in his play, and I thought he did some nice things today.
Where is Chase's confidence right now?
It's better. It's getting better every game. I think he wants to do well. He wants to score a couple more baskets. He made a couple nice shots. He had one really bad play where he forced one in the first half on a break when I think he was unsure whether to pull up, take it to the rim. I think he was trying to get fouled and kind of made a bad play. But he's had some good days in practice as well. I don't know that we have a lot of guys that have played high level basketball consistently day after day after day. And so that's a little bit of our challenge, is being consistent and finding guys who are playing well. Like Alex, didn't shoot the ball well today. He didn't shoot the ball well in a scrimmage the other day. He's practiced better, but in both outings, he hasn't made shots yet. I'm not really worried about it, but, we'd like to see that happen. But so I think everybody's still kind of getting their legs under them, finding their way, and trying to do well, but a couple times playing a little too quick.
Nick and Al-Amir, like they took a step this offseason. What do you want to see from them? How do you think they played today?
They have, like, Al's got to play better. I mean, 4 turnovers not going to be good, and we can't have that out of those guys and win. I thought Nick was much more solid today. Al made a couple nice threes, scored a couple buckets, was fine, did some good things defensively, but a little out of rhythm at times. And those guys have to play well. It's kind of like we've talked about. They're experienced players. They got to play like experienced players that have been starters, and that means you got to get double figures and have 4 or 5 assists and 1 or 2 turnovers if we're going to win against really good teams. And, that's a lot of responsibility, but, hopefully they're up for it. We'll see.
Coach, are you looking for any particular player to kind of step up as a leader now that Amir is gone?
I mean, Hunter Tyson's doing a good job. I think he's our most vocal guy. I think he's the guy that guys look to and listen to the most. I think he's got, a strong belief and understanding of what we're trying to do, and confidence in how we do things. And so guys naturally look to him. It is a little bit different. The two grad guys are there. David's very quiet. I wish he would be a little more vocal. Naz is doing a good job of trying to help in that way. I think some of the other guys, Al and Nick, it's not as natural. So it's a struggle for them to do it as much as we would like. PJ is just concentrating on trying to be a good player right now. And that's probably enough for him. So we got to kind of work through some of those older guys. But I think Hunter's been the guy who's been the most vocal and consistently has had the best messages.
What do you want to see PJ get better at defensively?
Well, he let it in a little bit too much tonight. He let it in a little bit. He was, he did a pretty good job protecting the basket, rotating when we got beat. But there were times he didn't get back in his position defensively, and the ball got inside a little bit against him. And I think they scored a couple baskets. He got a foul one time too.
Right, he shot a couple threes, made one of them.
Yeah.
Depending on the matchup, is he a guy that could?
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
step out?
No, yes, he absolutely can step out and shoot threes. And, it's a shot he's worked on since high school, and, we're still working with him on it. And, he's shooting the ball pretty well. So, yes, absolutely, he can take some of those shots.
Coach, going back to David Collins, do you expect his offensive role to develop throughout the season?
Yeah, I think so. I think it'll be kind of game to game, like a lot of guys. But I do think obviously there are games he's going to have, some big nights when he's got a matchup. I think that's, I don't know that we have a pure go-to guy right now. I think that's, point of concern as a coach. You kind of wish that there was a definite guy more times than not. But he's a guy that I think in certain situations could be a guy that we do that with.
You mentioned that you're going to be playing a lot of guys. Is that going to be a focus like it was last year, or more just trying to figure out what your rotation?
Well, I think it's right now it's a little bit of both. I think, we'd like to do that. Obviously guys have to earn it though. You don't just do it because, guys don't earn it. And so, it could look different in other games. If, close game, you might not see as many guys get as many minutes. Maybe you don't have 9, 10 guys getting double figure minutes. But I'd like to do that and develop our bench a little bit if we can.
How close is PJ, or is he close at all to being the guy kind of like feel like you can run your offense?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's to be determined. Again, he's a guy that I think will get some touches in some critical times. Is it every game? I don't know. This was by far one of his better games. He's played pretty well in practice, hasn't played great every day. He's had some tough days, but he's, there's no question that he's on the uptick. You can see it. He's working really hard with it, and he just needs to show it, consistently, which is the next big step for a lot of guys.
PJ and the two freshmen in the posts, kind of sounds like it's going to be a year you're going to have some growing pains down there.
Could be at times, probably. It's it's one of those deals where you're kind of caught in that situation. We had the young guards a couple of years back. It's hard to sign guys sometimes when you have a guy like PJ, right? Like he's a deterrent to guys wanting to come because everybody pretty much knows that guy's, a top 75 recruit who was waiting in the wings and is now probably going to be a 2-3 year starter for you. It's not easy to just go get a guy to come sign up to do that. We had the two freshmen, and kind of knew those guys were coming. So it was like, hey, do you want a bunch more? Not really. You want those guys like confidence in Ian, confidence in Ben, that they can do it. So this happens sometimes in recruiting the way it is.
I think it's a source of motivation for PJ that you're like, I don't know if he's.
I don't know. I mean, I hope he is. Like, I want them all to be, but he certainly has some ability to be that, no question about it. That's obviously why we recruited him, and we have a lot of confidence in him. This was a big step for him to, this year to do that in a game, needing to do it consistently. It's hard to do it game after game. I mean, that's when you become elite players, right? All conference players are guys that carry their team on their back in certain situations. There's a lot of games in basketball that come down to a couple possessions, and more times than not, it's not the coach. It's a player. It's a player making plays. It's not coaches coming up with great X's and O's and sets. And it's guys making plays. Amir Sims was that guy for sure last year. And PJ's going to have a great opportunity, but he's young. I mean, he is only a sophomore, but Amir was a senior last year who started for 3 years. So we have to remember that.
I have time for one more, or two more, if anyone has one.
Coach, you have a lot of veteran guards who can play make and initiate offensively. Do you think that's going to be a strength of the team this season?
Yeah, I hope so. And they got to play better, right? Nick and Al and Alex and guys that have been in the program. I mean, they're, at the 1 and 2, and Chase now, who has maybe not quite as much experience as those guys. David Collins, you throw him in there because he's a grad guy that's played a lot. Like, those guys are older players that, you hope you see really good things from. And as much as anything, it's just consistency in play, consistency in performance. So you kind of know what you're getting. And, again, I thought Nick had a great floor game today. Didn't score as much, but man, I thought he did a lot of great things in the open court, got guys shots, got us some layups. I thought he was very efficient. Good to see.
Anything else for Coach?
Appreciate y'all coming.
Thank you, Coach.
Coach.